So my role in the training session today is to kind of try to represent the voice of the user and to provide with this first slide the context within which DTOceanPlus sits in the technology development process, and also the context how it sits alongside various collaborations of the international funding and technology development community. Then I'm going to come back after each demonstration session and try to add a real life example of how that tool might be used by a particular company or organization. And then at the end, try to bring that context all back together to understand how those use cases fit back into the context of technology development. So this slide is somewhat similar in style to one of the ones that Donald just showed, which shows a cycle of the technology development process and the use cases within it. And I'm trying to show the activities that the funders and investors might carry out above the dotted line, and the technology developers might carry out below the dotted line. So starting at the top, I was trying to characterize the things that technology funders and investors are doing to progress this sector. So at the highest level, the simplest level, a funder or an investor is trying to originally prioritize the innovation support areas where they think they need to fund activity to progress the sector and to progress their particular strategic objectives. Then they're trying to design a funding scheme to deliver that, to be able to support those activities. And then when they've done that, they need to be able to evaluate and select technologies to fund within that program. And then below the line, technology developers are trying to identify which ones of those funding schemes are appropriate for their activities in their stage of development. Once they've selected one and been successful in achieving funding, they're looking then to plan their activities, develop their technology through an engineering development project, demonstrate progress with their technology development, and then identify areas of improvement so that they can continue on a continuous cost reduction or performance improvement process throughout the life of the technology. And it's at that point where they meet back up with the technology developers who are keeping a view of that to try and understand what future funding schemes they need to be associated with. So these are the kind of activities that the StageGate tool and the rest of the DTOceanPlus tools can support. But what's also as important is how DTOceanPlus links in with the international community. And the guidance that it can provide is important that does align with the international community. So in the top right-hand corner, you can see a very small screenshot of a document that some of the DTOceanPlus partners collaborated with the International Energy Agency Ocean Energy Systems Group to produce, along with some other working group partners in the States and other members of the OES panel. And that's a framework for evaluation and guidance of ocean energy technology. And what that provides is an agreed set of technology development activities through 6 engineering stages. It outlines the key areas within which a technology should be evaluated, and it outlines the parameters that should be used to evaluate those technologies. So we've made sure that the recommendations and the guidance that's provided within the StageGate design tool aligns with those recommendations from OES. And by doing that, we try to meet in the middle between the technology developers and the funders and investors, so that they have a consistent expectation of the technology development pathway and the ways in which technology should be evaluated. So that allows the top half and the bottom half of this diagram to meet around a consensus on how development should proceed. And that's something that will continue to be developed as it is hopefully taken up by more and more funders around the world, and members of the DTOceanPlus consortium will continue to collaborate on that. So these are the key use cases between three of the key users of DTOceanPlus. As I said, I'll come back at the end of each of the software demonstrations and try to bring some of these examples to real life.